Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Baseball Adjacent. My name's Josh. That right there is America's pitching coach. It's Justin Arth, and we're back with what I'm going to call the first official episode of 2026, of the 2026 regular season, at least.
Yeah, we're finally back talking about baseball. We've gotten 10 games into the season, so it's time for our overreactions and underreactions. It's a great time in baseball. We're 10 games in. We're 1/16 through the way. So hey, let's start saying our big overreactions, underreactions, because that's what baseball's about, right? Like 10 games matter.
Yeah, biggest surprises so far. Who needs to hit the panic button? Who maybe doesn't need to hit the panic button? Uh, it's early, but also it's not that early. We're two times through the rotation at this point, so
Yep.
that's kind of where we're at. So, like, subscribe. If we miss something about your team, let us know down in the comments. Hype the video. I'm told that that's helpful to say.
Yes, it is very helpful. Hype the video, like, comment, say that we have zero ball knowledge. Give us some things that you're seeing from the season. Like, interact with us because that'll make a better episode for you next week when we do another weekly recap. So, keep engaging with the content, help it get it pushed out to more baseball fans like yourself as we continue to talk about all things adjacent to baseball, hence the name Baseball Adjacent.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, without dilly dallying anymore, let's get into some of the teams. I guess let's start in the American League, and then we'll do the National League next. But why don't you pick a team you want to start with?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to take the low hanging fruit of the Boston Red Sox. We'll talk about them in a minute. But I do want to bring up the Toronto Blue Jays, the defending American League champions. First 10 games into the season's looking a little rocky. Like they started off fairly well, they were 4-1. Now they've lost five consecutive, and the five straight that they've lost were to the White Sox, and then they got blown out by the Dodgers. So it's just one of those things that hey, they're 4-6 right now. They're not super far off from the Yankees. They're still only 3.5 games back. But you look at the run differential; they're minus 20 in the run differential right now. And again, a lot of that skewed because of the one blowout loss to the Dodgers they had the other day. Pitching's been okay in the last five, but I think this offense is not clicking at all right now. Like through the 5 games that they've lost, they've only scored 10 runs in 5 games. So that's an average of 2 runs a game, which isn't going to win you baseball games, even if your pitching has been fairly decent the way that theirs has been in the last five. Their BABIP's been a 221. Their WRC plus has been a 51. And remember, 100 is league average. So as a team, when your WRC plus is a 51, you're not really doing well as an offensive staff right now. I mean, Alejandro Kirk just went down with injury. Vladdy's been okay, but Vladdy hasn't really been Vladdy. So it's weird times here in Toronto. I mean, obviously they've got all the pieces to make that offense work, and it's probably just a hey, we're a 5 game stretch or 6 game stretch, depending on how long this continues. That they're kind of struggling. The K rate's right at 20%. They're only walking 8% of the time. Their isolated power number is extremely low at a .059. So it's just bad times right now. I think they're all getting off to a slow start with the rut that they're kind of in. It's just really bad timing that you could see the Miami Marlins like start the way they did versus the White Sox. But then Toronto rolls through when they're the defending American League champions, and then that's when they start to struggle. So Toronto pitching wise, I mean, it's still a 4.84 ERA in the last 5 games that have been losses. So they're giving up runs, and again, not horrible, but not great either. But when you're only scoring 2 runs a game and you're giving up an average of 5 runs a game, that's not a recipe for success. So Toronto hit the panic button a little bit, but again, I think you've got all the guys to be fine. It's just now you've lost a piece of your offense with Alejandro Kirk, and you need a catcher to stand up. And you're going to be relying on a rookie catcher that overslept and missed one of the games. So, I mean, hey, it's baseball, right?
Well,
10 games in,
that was for sure the Kansas City catcher that did
or
that
Kansas City
in
catcher, whatever.
Carter
They're all
Danson.
blue. They're all
Yeah.
blue.
Uh, yeah, I wonder how much, and I know it's really cliche to say this, right? Is like the postseason hangover
Yeah.
of they have a month less basically to recover from the season than other teams do. And it's great to make it all the way to the World Series, obviously. I don't think you trade that, but it does kind of affect your recovery time. Because if
Yeah.
you're, say, Baltimore that didn't make the playoffs last year, you have an extra month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, however long, for your body to recover, your arm to recover. You're bouncing back, maybe a little bit stronger into spring training, all that kind of stuff. I feel pretty confident that the Jays will find it. I still think that it's like a good baseball team.
Oh yeah.
Um, I'm not at the point right now that I am with maybe some of the other teams across the league where I'm slamming the panic button,
Yeah.
but I for sure am like making sure that I know where the panic button is, you know?
Yes, and the one thing I'll add to Toronto too is really their struggles right now in these last 5 games has really just been a bad series against the White Sox, and then you're playing the Dodgers again,
Yeah.
with a little bit of that World Series hangover, or yeah, the World Series hangover of being the American League pennant champions. But I mean, Dylan Cease has been tremendous since coming over, and so that's going to continue to look upward for them. I mean, they've got a good rotation, they've got guys, so they've got all the pieces. And so it's not necessarily like we're hitting the panic button, but it's like, hey, this 5 game stretch probably needs to stop now, and let's get back to being what we got to do because, like, hey, the Yankees are rolling it on all cylinders right now. I mean, they've got a 25 or plus 25 run differential. They're 7-2. Pitching's good. Offense is rolling. I mean, it's you don't want to get super far behind this early, and you're already 3.5 back. And if this losing streak continues to roll, it might be harder. Now we're still early enough in the season where you're okay. You could claw back a 5 game or even an 8 game games back separator, but if that continues for too long, if the Yankees are still world beaters and let's just say they get to 15-3 or something like that, and then Toronto's sitting 2 or 3 games under 500, that's going to be a little harder to pull back just because the offense has then struggled for 2 or 3 weeks. But that
Yeah.
doesn't mean come summertime when Toronto is a little more sunny and the heat's up a little bit there in Canada, you could start bouncing balls everywhere, and then the offense start going the way it was last year, and then you claw it back. It's just you're digging yourself into a hole that some teams have the makeup to do it. This team I think does, but yeah, I think you need to get things settled now as opposed to like saying, okay, we can let this continue because we're a good ball club.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Big ball bouncers over here at at baseball adjacent. Let's talk about Boston. This is a team right below Toronto,
Yep.
and I'm a little bit more panicky on Boston than I am Toronto. It's looked not very good visually. They're 2-8. They
Hmm.
are not good on the road, as you would expect from a 2-8 team, and they're also not very good at home.
Yeah.
Uh, as we record this, we're recording this on Tuesday morning, the 7th, so this will come out on the 8th. I just watched the Red Sox Brewers game last night, and they kind of got dinked and dunked, and it was kind of a Red Sox special this year where it just feels like something is always going wrong for them. And it just feels like a whole team effort from Boston. It feels like they're not really pitching well. Their bullpen is not great. They're not exactly hitting incredibly. So it's just like it's a bad time out in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, I think outside of Wilyer Abreu, everyone on that offense has been pretty poor. I mean, Roman Anthony since opening day has been 1 for 18 in his last 4 games or whatever, since reaching base 4 times on opening day is what this article I'm looking at saying. But then you look at like the team stats itself. I mean, similar to Toronto, a 4.84 ERA through 10 games, which is not going to be the recipe for success. And then they've even had an expected ERA, team ERA, of a 5.98. Like that's not good for a pitching staff, especially with a pitching coach and a staff that has prided themselves on pitch shapes and being a super analytical team that's on the cutting edge of pitching and can get the most out of pitchers. I mean, Ranger Suarez hasn't necessarily been, or not Ranger Suarez, sorry, that's Braves. Um, Ranger Sanchez. Yeah,
I think it is Ranger
yeah,
Suarez.
Ranger Suarez. Okay, yeah, there's just so many Suarez's and Sanchez's I'm dealing with now. So, but Ranger Suarez hasn't necessarily been tremendous in Boston since coming over, like I thought he would have been. Um, I mean, and then you look at the team offensively. I mean, through the 10 games, a 26% strikeout rate. That's not going to be a recipe for success. WRC plus has been a 92. So again, you're below average as a team. And a lot of that's being held up by Wilyer Abreu, who's gone in and actually slugged the ball pretty well. But it just anything that can go wrong will go wrong for this team right now. Um, and it's time to start hitting the panic button a little bit because you're even further behind the Yankees, and on paper you're supposed to be a good team, but relying on a roadless Chapman as the only piece in the bullpen's not being successful for you either. You need more of a bullpen. Your starters need to get deeper into games, and you need a better team batting average than a 231 and what is it, only 36 runs scored through 10 games. So you need to score more runs, need to give up less runs, and yeah, it's panic button time in Boston.
Yeah, I'm there with you. Uh, Another note from Boston. I don't think Roman Anthony can throw.
No,
I've been seeing the clips from left field. I think the book is out. If it's hit to left, even with the monster and him playing 75 feet away from home plate, where you naturally play left field in Boston, you gotta test it. You gotta run on
yeah,
Roman Anthony all day, and if he throws you out one time out of 10, you're gonna take that risk. I think because it's not looked
which
pretty.
which is very surprising with how young and athletic he is that he doesn't have the arm that a lot of us, I guess, thought he could have had. So
Yeah.
it's not necessarily Marcelo Ozuna, but the glove ain't the glove and the arm really ain't there.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah,
It's like Juan Soto esque almost, because Soto last year, notably with the Mets, like went to their pitching coach to learn how to throw.
yeah.
So maybe Roman Anthony needs to do that in Boston. Although I'm
Well,
not
hey,
sure, looking at the
Roman, I
Boston
got
pitching
you.
staff.
I got you. I can teach you kinematic sequencing, get all that energy going towards the target, towards home plate. Like, I got you. Just hit me up.
Yeah, yeah. I yeah, maybe that's a better shout than the Boston pitching staff because I've watched Boston pitch and I don't know that their pitchers know how to throw either at this point. Let's move on. I have one more note that I for sure want to talk about in the AL, and it's the White Sox, not the team, but on the White Sox, Murakami has
Yeah.
honestly looked good. He
Yeah,
has
he's
looked
he's been the
way
real
better
deal.
than I think we thought.
Oh, no, he's tremendously better than I think we thought. I mean, and the thing is, I think a lot of us expected him to be decent, but the biggest question was, okay, how is he going to see velocity? Like, how is he going to see velocity, major league velocity consistently of your 95 plus? But he's been really good. I mean, he's the first White Sox player in franchise history to have a home run in each of his first three big league games. I mean, the power bat's there. I mean, he's performing. And we'll see if it continues. But I do think, like we've talked about on another podcast before, talking about Murakami, like I think him playing in Chicago and not the Cubs, where it's not a pressure environment to win, it's allowed him to pick up what he needs to do and be a hitter and kind of ease into a season. And he's come out full guns blazing and performing the way that some of us might have expected, or at least the prospect pedigree said he would have been. So shout out Murakami, and I mean, hey, keep it up. You're
Yeah,
going to get a contract whenever your contract in the White Sox is done.
yeah, I think he's got a 2 year deal out there. It
Yeah,
feels like if this maintains, though, that might be a piece they build around with Montgomery and some of the other young guys.
yeah,
Uh,
could be.
you never know,
Question is, does he want
obviously.
to stay in Chicago and be a part of that build if obviously everything continues to roll the way that it's rolling? Because
Yeah,
you would have a team like the Dodgers with all the Japanese talent that they have and the money that they can just throw around
yeah,
if the lockout doesn't change that. Uh, that
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you've got that, or you've got other teams like Seattle that at how Japanese talent works. We all know.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Other note: Chicago, the White Sox as a team haven't looked as bad as I thought visually.
See, see,
They're okay. They almost look like a real baseball team. It's
Yeah.
crazy. We're in a new era in the south side of Chicago. Uh, there with the White Sox. You have any
I mean,
other
and,
AL
and one
notes?
Yeah, one other AL note too is the Seattle Mariners. I mean, they've not necessarily struggled out of the gate, but they've struggled out of the gate. And I think a lot of it, the offense has been fine. And I think a lot of it's just at a glance. I haven't done a super deep dive into it. So, hey, you guys can comment and say I've got zero ball knowledge, whatever. But it seems to me that it's the bullpen's issue because the offense is scoring runs. And their run differential's a +2, but they're 3 games under 500 at the time that we're looking. So the rotation, I mean, I know Logan Gilbert got blown up in one start just because of fantasy baseball. I've got Logan Gilbert there, and it wasn't a very good start for me. Helped me lose in week one. But regardless of that, like the pitching, I think's been okay overall. Just not as fast starting as what we expect out of that Seattle rotation. And then the bullpen that should typically be nails, I don't think's been nails. So offense needs to get it going a little bit. They're not scoring a ton of runs, but they're scoring more runs than they're giving up. They've just got to be able to close games and move forward. But 4-7 start, not necessarily hitting the panic button, but got to get it going.
Yeah, Cal Raleigh hit his first home run last night off Jacob deGrom.
Yeah,
Watched that happen. Was frustrated. It was a 12 pitch at bat, but good for Raleigh.
yeah,
And also
and
to
he
the
had
Mariners'
struggled off.
credit, they should have one more win if Joe Adell didn't ball
Doesn't
out
rob
that
all three of those
that
home
one
runs.
night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like I don't. It's early. It 4-7 doesn't look bad. You probably feel
No.
better about 5-6, which very realistically could have happened, right?
Yeah. And then you look
Uh,
at expected win loss too. They should be 6-5. So
yeah,
maybe not as panicky as what I sounded in terms of okay, bullpen needs to be a little better, starting pitching needs to be a little better, offense needs to be a little better. But yeah, I mean it's baseball. You go with where the results take you. You're 4-7, should be 6-5 potentially according to win loss, expected
yeah.
win loss. But yeah, it's baseball. You'll get
We'll
them back.
see. We'll see.
Angels are playing well right now, and you got to go catch them.
Yeah, Angels and Astros, top of the division. Uh, who would have thought? Angels kind
Yeah,
of a surprise. Not going to deep dive into them. Sorry, Angels fans. Maybe next episode. But they look better than I thought
they do.
early.
They do.
Let's flip to the National League here. Who do you want to talk about?
Well, let's first start off by talking about the Miami Marlins. Let's get them out of
Yeah,
the way. Obviously, through the first 10 games of the season, they're starting to fall off now. They're still tied with basically the Phillies, Mets, and then the Braves are half game back. So you can practically say they're tied with 4 teams for the top of the division. I mean, they're tied for the top of the division right now. Sandy Alcantara has been good for them. They've obviously really took advantage of what was it, the White Sox and A's that they played in their first 2 games or first 2 series of the season. So they ended up only having one loss or 2 losses
yeah,
through those 3 games. So they started off hot. They did what they needed to do to beat those guys. I thought without Kyle Stowers, maybe they'd struggle out the gate, but they do have a lot of young talent. I really like Marcy. I really like some of the guys there, and I just kind of thought overall they were a year ahead of schedule last year, but they'd be kind of a pesky team. Well, they're kind of showing that.
yeah,
They're going to be a pesky team. They're going to score some runs. They're going to be around. And as you're seeing, as they're starting to face I'm not going to say major league competition because obviously the athletics and that offense and what they can be is a top 5 offense in baseball. It's just the pitching for them so horrible right now.
yeah,
But then you look at the White Sox, they're a better baseball team than what we expected, or what some of us expected. I thought they'd take a step forward in our prediction video. Go check that one out. But the White Sox are again one of the worst teams in baseball, or should be one of the worst teams in baseball. So if you handle your business, you should win those games. Like Toronto, like you handle your business. But regardless, they did what they needed to do. Now they're facing more major league talent. They're starting to fall off a little bit, but they're 6-4. They're hanging around, and we'll see how this young team can kind of hang around and how long they can. But I mean, the pitching staff is good. I mean, you've got Yuri Perez still over there. You got Sandy Alcantara over there. I mean, Edward Cabrera is now a Cub, but they've still got a decent pitching staff that can continue to carry them. I mean, Pete Fairbanks has been pretty good at the back end of their bullpen, even now missing a game for I think it was the having a kid or whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, this team looks well improved, and they're going to be a thorn in the side of all three of these contending teams in the NL East.
Yeah, the Marlins strike me very much as a team that could like. So last year, the playoff race, the last team in was the Reds. They had 83 wins. The Marlins, watching so far, I feel like are going to be around 500 the whole season. I
Yeah,
think you're going to see a lot of, when you check their last 10 games, you're going to see a whole lot of 6 and 4s and 5s and 4s and 6s. I just think
yeah,
that's kind of the team. But I so feel like they could accidentally pop out an 83 or 84 win season, which puts them right on the cusp of a playoff berth, right? Uh, if Sandy can be a dog, if he can go back to like Cy Young Sandy, which he just had his first complete game since like 2023 this week, if he can channel some of that, maybe not be all the way, Cy Young Sandy, because that's going to be a tall ask, but if he can be like a really, really good ace, I like there's a shot, right?
yeah.
They could hover around 500 and it's fine and it's pesky, and then maybe next year everybody takes a step forward and you're doing things. But yeah, they have been better than I expected early for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and then I'll take a second and talk about my Braves too. I mean, expected 8-3. We've got the best ERA in all of baseball. So the questions, at least for now, of why didn't we sign another veteran starting pitcher? We're rolling with the guys that we've got, and overall they've done well. I mean, Chris Sale kind of had a blow up last night against the Angels. That was a little uncharacteristic in the fourth inning. Had bases loaded, couldn't really get out of it, and kind of blew up on them. But even with that, I mean, only giving up 28 runs through 10 games, 11 games. That's pretty good clip. Offense has been good, at least in the 17-2 game, and that's without Austin Riley and Ronald Acuna Jr. Knowing or understanding how to hit a baseball right now. So Drake Baldwin being really good
Yeah,
as expected. Still tied with Major League lead in homers right
I
now?
think
I
National
think
League lead.
or National League leads. So, I mean, you're seeing guys perform. It's just you need to kind of get the offense rolling more consistently with the Braves there. But again, they're quieting concerns. Should be 8-3. You're 6-5 right now. Bullpen looks nails whenever you get to Suarez and Iglesias at the back end of that. I mean, Dylan Dodd still pretty nail, or not Dylan Dodd. Dylan Lee still nails at the back end of that bullpen too. So offense just kind of needs to get it together. Austin Riley needs to stop pressing. Ronald Acuna needs to start hitting the baseball. The World Baseball Classic hangover seems to kind of be hitting him a little bit. Ozzy's actually been pretty good. He's starting to fall off as of these last 2 or 3 games. But Ozzy, a volume player, more at bats he gets as long as he stays healthy. He'll go in spurts, but it'll even out all at the end. And he's hitting well right now overall. And hopefully we can keep it going, get Austin Riley started, and really start contending with the NL East here. I mean, we're a half game back, so but
Yeah.
I'm pleasantly surprised with what I'm seeing out of the offense. Just need the offense to be a bit more consistent.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised at how bad Ronald has been. I knew it was not great, but looking at the actual numbers, it's worse than I thought. And it's not.
Yeah,
I'm not saying hit the panic button. Ronald needs to retire, but
no,
it is like a. It would be helpful for the Braves if he like comprehended life a little bit more at the
yeah.
plate.
And you look at historically, whenever Ronald has gotten on base to start off the game, because he is our leadoff hitter for all intents and purposes. Whenever he's on base, you have Antoine Richardson, who has not actually really helped us recently as much as we thought he maybe would in the run game. But again, there's 162 to play. So hopefully that'll continue to work. But getting Ronald involved in the run game is going to be huge in creating runs. And the more you get Ronald on base, the more the offense continues to work. I mean, Matt Olson's starting to kind of get into a rhythm. Obviously, Drake Baldwin's the number 2 hitter, hits lefties pretty well for being a left handed hitting catcher. So if Drake Baldwin's hitting the way that he is all season, and if Matt Olson and Austin Riley really start working. Yastrzemski can be what he was in spring training. Like you've got an offense that can get Ronald home, that can get Drake home, that can do some damage. It's just you need Ronald and Austin to start picking up what they're doing. And right now, Austin Riley, you can tell he kind of gets this way as a player when he knows he's struggling. He starts pressing more, and then it kind of steamrolls into more mistakes or more swing and miss and more strikeouts. So if you can get Austin Riley to stop pressing and get back to the baseball player that he's been, it's like that's a good third baseman too. But you got to have both of those guys swinging to make this lineup deeper, and then we'll get Hassan Kim back at some point. Sean Murphy's about to start a rehab assignment and get into the fray. I mean, Jonah Heim wasn't horrible to start the year, but obviously we both know, as you're the Rangers fan over here, Jonah Heim can't hit a baseball to save his life, even though he can go in spurts. So good defensive catcher. But it would be nice to get Sean Murphy back in there because the bat hasn't been good for Murphy either. But you would like to think the potential of Sean Murphy's bat is better than what Heim gives you. So it's good to have that other guy in the rotation to catch games and call games and give Drake some more DH time and allow those two to stay in the lineup and get hot. So,
Yeah,
I mean, where the Braves are at, I'm okay with it. Would like them to be a little better just because I'm a fan and watch them every night when I can. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with where the team's at.
for sure. Let's move on to the Central. I want to talk about the Pirates.
Okay. Yeah.
We talked about the White Sox are almost a baseball team. I think the Pirates might actually be a baseball team.
Yeah, they
The
are.
outfield defense horrendous. O'Neal Cruz, my God. Brian Reynolds, what are we doing?
Yeah, you
Uh,
you owe Paul Skeens money in some fines with
yeah.
how bad his ERA is because of y'all too.
Uh, but Skeen seems pretty happy out there. I've seen clips of him smiling for the first time, maybe in his life. I
Yeah,
don't know that I've ever seen him smile ever under any circumstance. But no, I mean, I think the additions this offseason of Brandon Lowe and Ryan O'Hearn have made that lineup somewhat formidable.
yeah,
And it's still not like an insane lineup by
yeah.
no means, but it is like it's now you look at it and you're like, okay, there's major league hitters in this lineup, and that we
Yeah,
can't
it's not
really
like
have
you can
said
take a
that.
break as a pitcher and
Yeah,
say, "Okay, well, okay, now I'm through like the top 3 hitters of the team, so now I can rest for the other 6."
yeah,
Like these are like your AAA or quad A players that I'm pitching to, or no offense, Isaiah Kiner Falefa, but like the Isaiah Kiner Falefas of the world, like a
yeah,
scrappy veteran that can play all over the field, but really can't hit well overall until he gets into like a hot streak. Like you're not facing those guys 1 through 9 anymore. And I'll even add in the like, yeah, Marcell Ozuna sucked at the plate. Like he's not hit well at all, but that's still a big league hitter with power, with pop that
yeah.
if you leave something over the plate can do damage. That, yeah, he's not getting results right now, but that
Like
leads to
maybe.
Ryan O'Hearn getting better pitches to hit. That gets Brandon Lau better pitches to hit. O'Neal Cruz better pitches to hit, and we've saw in the home run derby what he can do when he gets a hold of one. So it I mean, you've got major league talented guys there. The staff outside of Skeens has been good. Skeens hadn't been good, but I think that's more due to the outfield defense, as we talked. And Skeens
Yeah.
will be fine. He's finally had one bad start in his career. Okay,
Mhm.
he's human.
It
But
was
that
time.
67.5 ERA will come back down, and it'll probably still end up around a 2 by the end of the year. So, I mean, despite that, they're 6-4, and they're right in the middle of that race with the Brewers kind of quietly being one of the better teams in baseball again, like we talked about with Noah in our home run derby draft. And then the Reds kind of surprisingly 7-3, hanging out in second place too.
Yeah, it's I don't. It looks they're a team that could sneak into a playoff spot. Now that I've seen it,
Yeah.
I don't think they're probably not winning the division. I think the Brewers are still the team to beat.
And the
Uh,
Cubs will still be around too.
yeah.
It's they've got off to a slow start.
I don't really trust the Reds, who I know we're going to talk about next,
Yep.
to maintain their pace. I think the Pirates and the Reds are very similar, but I trust the Pirates a little bit more because I think they can hit a little bit better.
Yeah, they can hit a little bit better. And again, we know what the Reds have 1 through 3, and really they've only got 2 guys right now because Hunter Green's out.
Yeah.
And so we know what they have 1 through 3, but we also, I think a lot of us are very bullish on the 1 through 5 that Pittsburgh has. And so we're enamored by the potential of that. And like you said, they have more major league hitters, guys that you actually have to fear. And they're showing what they got to do. And then at some point, Marcell Ozuna will get hot and start popping balls outside of Pittsburgh into the Allegheny River and things like that. So I mean, when he does, like that'll make the lineup even deeper.
Yeah. Let's talk about Cincy for a minute. Why don't you take this one?
Yeah, so they're 7-3, sitting second place in the division. They've won 4 straight, but I'm still not sold on them. I mean, I'll start off by talking about the positive first. Like Sal Stewart is the real deal, and he's going to be there for a long time. And I think he is legit. I mean, 22-year-old rookie coming out the gates hot. I mean, you look at every single rookie that seems to be making their debuts this season is coming out extremely hot, rolling around. I mean, the Reds wanted the offensive boost from Eugenio Suarez. They haven't gotten it from him, but they've gotten it from Sal Stewart. He got ripped in the wrist on opening day and still came back, and he's still hitting.
Yeah.
Or at one point, it was like 532 or something. It's 474 now, but a 1.562 or so a 1500 OPS. I mean, the dude is hitting. He's the real deal. And again, he can play third base if needed too. So watch out, Suarez. If you don't start doing what you got to do, you might move to first base, and Sal might be playing third base. But they're not going to change anything that what they got going on. But the pitching's good. The pitching's not giving up a lot of runs, which is why they are 7-3. I mean, they've only given up 30 runs in 10 games, so they're giving up 3 runs a game. But what does concern me is outside of Sal Stewart, even with Sal Stewart hitting the way that he is, they've only produced 28 runs scored the entire season. So you're a -2 run differential. Ellie hasn't really gotten anything going. Eugenio Suarez hasn't gotten anything going. This offense that, like we've talked about in the past, has a lot of like scrappy, like good major league caliber people that kind of fill in that kind of Brewers role of like, we know these players exist, but we're not ever going to give them credit for being good major leaguers. But then they still go out and perform. Well, right now, none of them are really performing, and they're not really scoring runs. So they're winning baseball games, which is crucial because you need to stack wins through 162 because you never know which win might count at the end of 162.
Yeah.
But I don't trust that this offense will continue to win them baseball games. Like if the pitching starts getting blown up once or twice, I mean, you still got Emilio Pagan in the back of that bullpen, and you still got other guys there, but pitching, I'm not concerned with them. They'll get Hunter Green back and they'll be fine again. Like that's what got them to the playoffs last year. But this offense not scoring runs right now, being I think the worst offense in baseball. Yeah, in terms of runs
Yeah.
scored, they are the worst offense in baseball. That just doesn't bode well for me to be confident that they'll continue this 7-3 streak and contend with the Brewers and the Cubs that'll come back, and then obviously the Pirates, like we talked about. And hey, I guess I'm slightly wrong on the St. Louis Cardinals being the worst team in baseball. They're hanging around there too.
Yeah, we'll touch on the Cardinals maybe briefly, but yeah, the Reds. I watch every Ranger game essentially. So I just watched the Reds for 3 games in a row. They swept the Rangers. I don't think the Rangers can really hit, and I think that helped the Reds so much because I also don't really think the Reds can really hit
Yeah,
based on the
it was the
series.
first one to 1 or 2 runs in that game.
Yeah. Uh, I think that they are not as bad offensively as they have shown in their first 10. I also make no illusions that they are going to be a great hitting team. Like, I think Ellie will be better than he's shown. I think Suarez will find it and he'll get his 40 home runs, right? If everybody stays healthy. But I don't think Sal is maintaining this pace through the
Oh,
end
he's
of the
not going to maintain
year.
the 400 pace, but I do think he is legit in terms of being a 300 hitter with some bombs and things like that.
Yeah, I maybe, but also like after that it gets thin quickly.
Yes.
Uh, so I don't. I don't trust it. I don't think you trust it. Reds fans, I guess, let us know down in the comments if you guys trust it. A note that I saw Friedel slipping on the foul line trying to catch a pop up. Pretty funny.
Yeah, that
That
was
was
pretty
funny in
funny.
the moment. Let's touch on the Cardinals just briefly. They're a 500 baseball team.
They are.
We had them as the worst team in baseball when we did our tier ranking video, and so far that has proven to not be true. JJ Weatherholt has kind of balled out a little bit since debuting. Uh,
Uh-huh.
the team has looked okay. I'm not
Yeah,
going to say that they've looked good. They have looked good compared to what we thought,
yeah.
but they have looked okay, which is better than we thought.
Yeah, I'm still concerned about the pitching. I mean, they've given up 55 runs through the 10 games, so I mean, they're giving up 5 runs a game, and they're scoring similarly to them. They're kind of right now performing like the worst version of the Astros, or the 500 version of the Astros, I guess you could kind of say, where the
Yeah.
Astros are giving up a crap ton of runs, but they're also scoring a lot, so they're winning more games. Like St. Louis hasn't scored near as many runs as what Houston has. But they kind of are in the same vein of, like, offensively, they're kind of rolling for the talent of guys that they are, and that's helping them win games when their pitching's kind of not necessarily nails. And so I do think there's a regression to the mean that's going to happen. But you've got guys like Lars Nootbaar and Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn and a lot of the guys that are in decision years of, like, hey, do we really build around you in this next phase? Like, we got JJ Weatherholt, and he's come out hot, and we'll see what he does as teams start to continue to adjust to what they then get on tape from him as a hitter. But yeah, it's the young guys that are trying to decide, are we building around them or not? They're actually making plays. They're doing what they got to do right now. So if they continue, I mean, this could be a team that again falls below 500 and is still maybe the worst team in that division when all said and done. But they may be better than what I expected if these guys continue to perform the way that they're performing, or go on some hot streaks and be even better. But the pitching is what concerns me the most with this team right now.
Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be more watchable than we thought for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know that I don't know that it's working for 162 games at
Yeah,
the
it's working
clip.
through 10, but we'll see about 162.
Yeah, I don't know that. I kind of think the pitching will get a little better. I imagine that that will lower to like 4.5 runs a game instead of 5.5. Like, I think that
Mhm.
there's room for improvement that's pretty achievable. But I also really think that the offense is going to fall from scoring, 5.5 runs a game to still 4.5 runs a game, which still probably puts
Yeah.
them around 500. It's probably a little worse. I think the offense will wind up scoring 4 runs a game,
Mhm.
maybe a
Maybe even
little
your 3.5 range.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, but it has so far been more watchable than I thought. I think
Yeah,
as a
absolutely.
fan, I think you're pretty pumped about that if you're St. Louis.
I mean, even just some of the moments they've already had this season has made the Cardinals baseball a lot better to watch. And so if now you fall off the face of the earth, hey, you've had this 10-game run of some pretty exciting moments with the wins that you've had. So I mean, you're probably still going to have a couple more because this team's overall really young, and the youth of it might allow them to come out and continue to be scrappy. So yeah, I mean, Cardinals baseball more watchable than I guess what we thought.
Yeah. Let's go NL West for a minute. I'll lead off. I want to talk about the Giants. This is the last team that I want to talk about. Man, they've looked bad.
Yeah.
Uh, it is. There's no sugarcoating it.
The Boston Red Sox of the NL.
Yeah, I mean, my lord, is Devers the problem? I don't know. It's
Well, I guess anywhere Devers has been is having problems.
yeah. I just I like I just expected it to be better, I guess, and not that I was expecting for them to come out and be 8-2 or 9-1 or 10-1 or anything like that, but I did not expect the 3-8 start with the team that they have. Like
Yeah.
I kind of thought that the offense, and I it's a tough hitters park, I get that, but I kind of thought the offense would be able to carry them a little bit more than it has. Like, because you look at some of the names and it's like, well, you do have Devers, who has been bad.
Yeah.
You have Luis Arias, who has actually looked shockingly good
Hmm.
in the clips that I've seen, at least. Adames should be good. Chapman is still Matt Chapman. I mean, I just thought that it would be better than it is right now in currency.
Well, yeah, and I continue to agree with you, and I would probably side on you that. But the one pushback I will give is every single team they've played this year has been a team that we expect to potentially be in the playoffs.
Sure.
And so you probably have one of the toughest schedules to start the year. I mean, you had the Yankees for 3, you have the Padres for 3, the Mets for 4, then you're in a Phillies series right now. So you've played some ball clubs that we expect to be either in and around the postseason. Whether you're the Padres, that I think are looking more down than up on postseason, but then again, you've still got 1 or 2 more years of a run potentially before the money catches up. The Phillies and Mets, we've talked about that before. We expect those two teams to fight for the NL East crown, and then the Yankees are 7-2 and one of the best teams in baseball right now. So I mean, yeah, it's tough because you have opportunities to win these games, and a lot of these games are overall close, except for what the Mets series was. I mean, yeah, you got the 7-2 win over the Mets, but then you lose 10-3, then you lose 9-0. You lose 7-1 to the Padres, but overall, all of these games have been 2 or 3 run games. So the offense just needs to kind of get going a little bit. And then just what I've heard on the Twitterverse or the Xaverse or whatever we're calling it, the a lot of Giants fans, and let us know in the comments, like Tony Vitalo, the manager coming over from the University of Tennessee. It's just taken a minute for him to adjust from the college game to the professional game. And so the way he manages is maybe not caught up with how big league managing needs to be. So some of the decisions that he's made has potentially hurt the team in some situations. So I mean, he'll continue to get it. He's a smart guy, really high regarded in baseball, so he'll be fine too. But it's just offensively, you got to get things going. Pitching's got to be a little better. Um, but I mean, just to push back on their horrible baseball team, I think things will righten the ship a little bit as they start playing talent that allows them to start stacking up on some wins. Because I mean, they get the Orioles next, which is going to be tough with how Pete Alonso's swinging the bat. But those seem a little more winnable if the offense gets going. The Reds aren't scoring runs, so if you can find a way to score 3 runs, you might win that series. Then you get the Nationals. Before then, you start playing the Dodgers and Marlins again. So, and by then, maybe the Marlins aren't as hot as what they are. So, it's a tough schedule to start, but they look like they have all the pieces to be okay. It's just a really slow start against some really good competition.
Yeah, I guess I you would like for them to tread water a little bit
Yes.
better against, right? Because I think the Giants look at their team, and Giants fans for sure look at their team, and they look across, and you got Logan Webb and Robbie Ray, and you have all those offensive pieces already listed. And you're like, man, this is not that. This is a playoff team, or it shouldn't be that far away from being a playoff
Yeah.
team. And now I'm staring down the barrel of we're the worst team record wise in the National League. Regardless of who you play, that's not where you want to be if you have
Yeah.
playoff aspirations. Like, yeah, it's been a tough schedule, but you'd like to be closer to 500,
Hmm.
um, regardless of who you play.
Yeah.
So,
The one thing that'll help them out, though, is they do have to play the Rockies a lot because of the division that they're in.
yeah,
And the Rockies are better, but they're still the Rockies. So you should be able to stack some wins there. Arizona's going to be a scrappy team in the NL West, but the back half of their rotation and back half of their bullpen is still a question mark. So if you can catch them at right times, you can take advantage there. And then we'll see what happens when they continue to play San Diego the rest of the season. So there's
sure.
opportunities to get back into it, but yeah, really slow start for them.
Yeah, it's they've dug themselves a hole early.
Yeah.
Which it's not insurmountable, but it is like you're aware of where the panic button is if you're the
Yes.
Giants. I mean, if you
And
go,
this is gonna be the conversation in the NL West as long as the Los Angeles Dodgers are there, is the fact of if you wanna actually contend for the division, which none of these teams ever seem to be able to truly contend, they're always going to be the little brother overall. You've had the Padres close a couple years, you've had the Giants close a couple years, but overall, that division's the Dodgers to lose every year, and so you want to keep pace with that team, and it's going to be hard to keep pace with that team because again, we've talked about it at length. If they really wanted to go in and blitz the league, they could very well go take that 116 number away from Seattle and make it 117 or 120. And right now, they're playing like it, despite now Mookie Betts being hurt on the IL and things like that. So being 3-8 when the Dodgers, who you're trying to keep pace with, are 8-2, that's a tough way to start. Not insurmountable, but a tough way to start.
yeah. I guess the last thing I want to talk about, or just highlight, if you missed it in the last week, we've had some pretty banger major league debuts
Yeah. Young
across
guys have
the
come out
league.
swinging.
Yeah, Jose Fernandez, not that one,
Yep.
debuted for Arizona, had a couple of homers, one off Kenley,
Yeah.
which is a moment I'm sure he'll be telling his kids and grandchildren. Uh, Connor Griffin had a double in his debut. Susak had 3 hits in his debut. So, like, the kids are kind of going, you know? It's an exciting time.
Yeah. I mean, you and then you add JJ Weatherholt and Sal Stewart to that, and I
Yeah.
mean, there's been a lot of young guys coming out. I mean, hey, Justin Crawford has been good for the Phillies too, and Andrew Painter and things like that. So I mean, a lot of young guys coming out and either swinging the bat well or making some plays as a pitcher and things like that. So I mean, a lot of young guys are coming out again. Everything that we'll continue to say is okay. Let's see this continue. But then one other thing too, okay, despite the Athletics not being a very good baseball team and the offense overall not producing like we expected to start off the year, Shea Langoliers, MVP caliber player early on. I mean,
Yeah.
dude is raking.
Yes, he is. I think he's tied with Chase DeLauter randomly.
Yeah,
Shout out Chase DeLauter for
another
the
young
major
guy.
league lead.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think Langoliers had like 11 homers in April last year, if
hmm
memory serves correctly. Um, so maybe he's just like an early season hitter, dude. I mean, the
could
ballpark
be.
helps out in Sacramento, obviously, but like you still gotta hit the ball hard.
Yeah, and he's doing it.
Chase DeLauter, young guy. I watch his swing and I don't understand how he has 5 home runs because it's not like a super sweet swing, you know, and this is not a shot
Yeah,
at DeLauter. He's a major league hitter. He's much better than I will ever be. But I do watch it and I'm like, how has that produced the major league lead in home runs to this point? Because it's kind of like short and choppy, and it's like he swings it like I'm trying to punch a 4 iron out of the woods on the golf course, and he probably hits the baseball further than I hit my 4 iron, and certainly further than Justin hits his 4 iron.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, no, I think a lot of it with him is he's keeping the bat through the zone and he's able to get to the sweet spot and then lets the bat do the work. So, allow the compression of the bat and the ball to create the pop. And I mean, it's not necessarily a beautiful swing or textbook swing by any stretch of the imagination, but he's performing right now. We'll see how that continues. I don't think he ends up being like a 50 home run guy, and plus he's hurt right now after he fouled a ball off his ankle or shin or foot or whatever it was.
Yeah,
But I mean, we'll see what happens when he comes back. See if that affects any of the momentum that he has. And yeah, I mean, if he can continue to be a good power bat and rip doubles and use the athleticism, get some triples there out in Cleveland, like the offense might be looking up, although it's still a work in progress. Still might be looking up for Cleveland. They might actually have a direction.
might be. Last guy to highlight. We made a short about it. Joey Weimer. Shout
Yeah,
out. My man has come out swinging it, dude. I
the
mean,
Weimer Warriors
yep.
join the
He
fan
played
club.
that opening series against the Cubs. The Cubs did not get him out. I think
Yeah.
he went 9 for 9 with a couple of bombs against the Cubs, which is crazy. A crazy way to
Yeah.
start the season.
Already starting to fall back to earth, unfortunately, but that was a really good way to start your season. So, shout out Joey Weimer, and we're accepting applications for people to join the Weimer Warriors.
Yeah, yeah. If you design T-shirts, let us know, and we'll pump one out. Uh, I think that's it, man. I don't think we missed anything. That's all my talking points, at least.
Yeah, those are all my talking points too. So, 10 games into the season, let us know if our overreactions or underreactions are warranted. Let us know what other teams or other situations that we didn't talk about today that you think are important to look at 10 games into the season. And yeah, keep the conversation going in the comment section. And obviously, that'll help guide us as we make more content adjacent to baseball coming to you each and every week. So, let
Yeah,
us know.
we'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm gonna give the people something to comment actually, because I resaw it. I want you to comment Gnome U Darvish. You made
No,
it to the
you
end of the
Darvish. There you
video.
go. There
I
you
don't
go.
know
Gnome,
why
you
this was a
Darvish, and then at
giveaway.
some point, Josh will get to a game and he'll come in wearing that nacho sombrero that the Rangers got over there for a
Yeah.
podcast.
You want to talk about biggest surprises of the season? That's up there for the Rangers. I
Oh
was
yeah.
floored when I saw the picture of that. I was like, "Dear God." Uh,
Well, you got to get one just for the podcast now. You gotta come in wearing one.
yeah, yeah. I got you. I'll figure out a way. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Um, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.
Deuces.